Hello children, welcome to e-learning class. This is Kusum Mishra and today we are going to study chapter 8 of your literature book, The Chimney Sweeper. The Chimney Sweeper is the title of a poem by William Blake, published in Songs of Innocence in 1789. The poem, The Chimney Sweeper, is set against the dark background of child labor that was prominent in England in the late 18th and early 19th century due to growth of industries and factories. Let's have a small introduction about poet. William Blake was an English poet, painter and engraver in the late 18th century to early 19th century. Blake was an anti-authority figure who wrote against all kinds of tyranny. He was born on 28th November 1757 in Soho in London and died on 12th August 1827 in London. He was regarded as a seminal figure of Romantic age. Blake worked to bring about a change both in the social order and in the minds of men. He wrote many famous poems such as To Autumn, The Tiger and The Garden of Love. Let's start the poem. We have one little narrator of our poem. First stanza. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. The little boy narrates that he was very young when his mother died. He was then sold by his father to a master sweeper, when his age was so tender that he could not even pronounce the word sweep, and cryingly pronounced it weep. The little boy was sweeping chimneys and sleeping at night in the soot-smeared body without washing off the soot, blackness. Second stanza. There is little Tom Decker who cried when his head that curled like a lamb's back was shaved. So I said, "Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head is bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair." In the second stanza, the little narrator tells us the awful tale of Tom Decker. Tom, as he newly engaged with this job, Tom wept when his head was shaved, just as the back of a lamb is shaved for wool. A narrator then told Tom to be calm, because there won't be any harm to his bald head because of soot. Third stanza. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. The third stanza, narrator keeps telling the story of Tom, who was calmed by the consoling words of narrator. That same night, while sleeping, Tom saw a vision. He was in his dream that saw that many chimney sweepers who were named Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack were lying in caged coffins. Fourth stanza. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, and run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. In the fourth stanza, a wonderful thing happened. One angel appeared with bright key, came near the coffins and opened the coffins. The sweepers, having been freed, ran down in green ground, washed themselves in the water of river, and dried themselves in the sunlight to give out a clean shine. This was really a very delightful moment for these chimney sweepers, who got freedom from their cage, who got freed from the shackles of bounded labors. Fifth stanza. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. In the fifth stanza, The little boy is still narrating the dream vision of Tom. All the little children were naked because little sweepers with joy leaving all things behind. The little chimney sweepers ride the clouds and play with winds. The angel told Tom that if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father, and there would never be lack of happiness for him. Last stanza. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not feel harm. In the last stanza of poem, the narrator tells that Tom woke up in and his dream vision broke up. Tom and other little sweeper boys rose up from their beds in the dark. They made themselves ready to work, taking their bags for soot and their brushes to clean chimneys. The morning was cold, but Tom, after the dream, was feeling warm and happy. There is the moral in last lines that if we all do our duty, we need not fear any harm. I hope you liked the poem. Thank you.